I had the opportunity several years, or no, I don't know how long ago it was, but I went to your home.
Yes.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And Noelle had a house in Malibu that was on the top of this mountain, and the view was amazing. The air was incredible. Would you describe your home to us?
It was a dream. I had a two-story house, 2,600 square feet, on an acre of land. And the only reason I bought the house is because of the view, which was a 180-degree view of the ocean from the top of a mountain. The house was not a tear down, literally, but it needed a lot of work, which is why nobody else wanted to buy it. But I didn't care. It took me about 10 years to fix it up, and I lived there 18 years, and it was truly a dream, to the extent that it is one of the chapters of Chicken Soup for the Soul, how I manifested that dream.
I love that. Yeah, she's
Adored
also
it.
an author, just to let you know. She has books, and you've also contributed to Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell us about the day of the fire.
So, on the Thursday night, which was I think the 8th of November, I was at a ballroom class. I came home at 8:30 at night. We'd already had the fires started, but it really didn't seem that threatening in my neck of the woods. And as soon as I got home, I had 4 messages from the sheriff's office that had started an hour before saying, get out, get out, get out, now. So I grabbed the dogs, my laptop, my mother's jewelry, and the clothes on my back, and I left. This was my 4th fire and my 3rd evacuation. So I thought, there might be some damage to the house, but that's all I thought. My house was completely and utterly destroyed with absolutely everything in it. That was what I define as a catastrophic event.
Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time you went to look at the damage. You had invited me. You invited me.
You offered.
I didn't want you to see it by yourself.
Thank you.
Yes. So we went up there.
Yep.
And I've never seen anything like it, because I knew how big it was before, and then I've never seen cement just turn into like baking powder, basically. Mm-hmm. It was an amazing thing. And I loved this about you, because you allowed yourself to really feel it for a moment. I mean, it wasn't like you were oh, woe is me, what am I going to do? You felt it. And then I wanted to find something for you. And Steve and I are pickers. We'll pick through anything just to find some kind of a treasure. And I thought, I am getting in there. I'm going to find something. And we found a wonderful little ceramic jar.
Little ceramic jar, Chinese, that my mother loved. And it was burnt, of course, but it wasn't cracked. And so she fished it out, because I was having none of it. It's like, I'm done. I'm so done. And it's the one thing I have.
And what I love is that it's a symbol of not only of your mother, but also of that place.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it was beautiful.
And I love that it wasn't cracked.
Nope.
It's very symbolic, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So anyway, one of the things that happened is that you told me that it really bothered you when people would say, well, it's just stuff.
Oh, yes. That really annoyed me. It's just stuff. And I thought, it's not just stuff. And then Jess, our beloved Jess, said to me, it's just stuff. And because I feel so comfortable with him, I said, no, it's not. It's my mother's portrait. It's the flag that was given to my father at his memorial for being a World War II vet. It's the first sister picture of my baby sister. It's my first medals from ballroom. And I don't want to cry. And he said, oh, you lost your story. He got it. He totally got it. And the thought that immediately came into my mind was, oh, time for a new story.
And what I love, this was what was so spectacular, because people lose things. They lose, health. They lose a relationship. They lose a loved one, possibly. They lose a house. How many of you have not experienced any kind of loss? Okay, so they're all good. We're all in the same boat. So when you lose something, what I noticed about you is that you went through a process. We went to go see your house, and then afterwards we went to Starbucks, and you told me the old story.
Yes.
And you needed to process that. You needed to tell me the old story. And from there, you went on to a new story. You said, I'm building my foundation from the goodness of this place. But there was something also is that you have, so being a master, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you, and that's why I call you a master. Because what you did was truly incredible. You allowed it to have its process with you. Because I remember you called every once in a while just in tears, which was, I would be worried about you if you weren't in that place. But you also knew that's not the place to live, but you jumped off from there, and there was a vibratory frequency, and you started to match with other people. This has been truly a blessing for you. Can you explain why you're so lucky? You really are.
Oh,
lucky.
I am. I'm the luckiest person that ever lived, which I know sounds really weird considering I lost everything. But there have been so many miracles and so many blessings basically from that day that I've had to keep a journal to keep track of how many. And the very first one was I'd had to kennel my dogs for a week while I didn't know where the world was anymore, while I was in a hotel. And when I went to the kennel to pay, they knew why I had kenneled my very large dogs. And without telling me they were going to do this, they charged me half of the bill, which was $900 and some odd dollars. They charged me $457 without even saying anything about it. And then the second thing was, I refused to stop my life. And if there's anything I can say to anybody who suffers a loss, is don't stop the important things in your life, because what comes out of them is incredible. I went back to ballroom class, and as I'm getting in the parking lot, a lady that I barely knew, I'd seen her maybe once or twice, came up to me and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry I heard about your house," yada, yada. She said, "You know, I'm a realtor, and just today, a tenant left my rental home. Do you want it?" I first said, how much? Because I'd been looking for places. And she said, "Oh, well," and she gave me a price that was, but does it have a yard? It has a yard. I'll take it. So we had, within 7 days, a place, a safe, warm, dry place for me and my dogs. I know people who have had to go as far as Irvine to relocate from their homes in Malibu, because on my hill, of the 30 homes, there are 6 left standing. Only because it was so remote, as you recall, the firemen couldn't get there. They just couldn't get there, just had to let it burn. So that was miracle number 1, and they haven't stopped since then.
Plus, wasn't there someone that went out and did shopping for you?
Oh, yes, my BFF. A lot of people really would enjoy this experience from the perspective of, well, you get to buy everything new, except I hate to shop. I am known for hating to shop. So my BFF went to Macy's and picked out 12 things, essentials. You know, this is one of them, tops, pants, things she knew I would need. She said, "Take 4. I'll take all the rest back." So I did. I picked 4. And I absolutely adored her for it, because she knew what mattered to me and what I could and could not do.
And one of the things that I know is that people have been responding to you in kindness that you never even knew existed.
Oh my gosh. 2 stories, real quick. Our Barbara, whom I barely knew. I know from sight, but we've never had lunch. We've never really had a long conversation. Arrived with shopping bags full of Christmas decorations. I know you don't have any Christmas decorations, and Christmas is coming. Oh, bless her heart. With toiletries. I mean, people don't think of this, but when you say you have nothing, you have nothing. So all of a sudden, I had soap, I had body lotion, Barbara, you gave me all sorts of other things, clothes and other stuff. It was just, and this from a woman I barely knew. But the story that really, really just rocked my world. So, among the things I lost is the one medication I take, which is a thyroid medicine. Any of you who've had thyroid medication know it's kind of important. Well, it burned up with everything else. So, hassling with CVS and everything to try to get another subscription. Finally, they agree I can have another subscription. I go to CVS to pick it up. The pharmacist gives me more grief. Well, you know, we don't want you taking more than you should, and you just had your prescription filled 10 days ago. I finally sort of had it, and I said, look, my house burnt down with everything in it, including my medication. Please, can I just have, it's not a street drug. Come on. She went, all right, I promise. I pay. I go to leave, and the woman behind me in line says, Miss, can I buy you something? Anything in the store? What do you need? Can I buy you anything? My heart, I can't even tell you. I said, no, thank you so much. But when I was driving home, I realized I have nothing. And I have everything. Yeah. Everything. I have a church. I have a community. I have friends. I have ballroom ballet, my dogs. And I have perfect strangers who love me. Oh. And it gave me a new definition of the word perfect stranger, because that's only one example. It just keeps happening. It's still happening. And I'm not running around going, or anything like that. It's just, people are wonderful. And I,
excuse me, I love that you just said that, because I remember from last year's fires, at the Thompson fires, there were people that were acquaintances of mine that went directly into that place, and they're still trying to find, a year later, they're trying to find where to live, where to go. So it's all about the universe matching your frequency, and what you've put out there has been really amazing. What is your daily practice? I'm curious about that. What is it that you do to keep your energetic being high?
Okay, well, you know, my basic thing is appreciation. So, because I still have nightmares. I mean, let's get real here. I still have nightmares. I still will call Reverend Kathy or Sherry when I'm having a severe meltdown, or my BFF. But fortunately, they're few and far between. And my daily practice is real simple. For one, when I go to bed at night, I count my blessings. I literally count my blessings. From the simplest, from, you know, the dogs are still here. I love them. I'm warm and dry and safe, which for me has become extremely important. I just count every single stinking blessing of the day. I don't write them down. I'm too lazy. But I go through them. And when I wake up, the first thing I think is, I'm warm, I'm safe, I'm dry. My dogs are okay. And then I go through another list of blessings that are already present. I'm breathing. I'm okay. My body's all here. I'm warm, I'm safe, I'm dry. And as I just start ramping that up, and then I literally have a list of what I call my morning affirmations, which I've done 40 years. The list changes as I change, but I go through those. I have some prayers I do. I mean, it takes me an hour in the morning just to do all that, but that puts me on what I consider my good track.
You have to start your day in a good track.
I do. I don't know about anybody else, but I do.
Yeah, because if you start it any other way, that you're setting up the day to be in resonance with things of like mind.
Well, and to be honest with you, if I didn't do that, I would crawl on the bottom of the bed and stay there.
Yeah,
absolutely. You have no idea how overwhelming this is with the administration, the insurance, I'm still in toxic waste removal stage because the house is still my responsibility. Just because it is nothing, it's still my responsibility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And do you feel, because you're doing your daily practice, that those things, and you have nothing really to compare it to, but they're probably easier for you to handle rather than being in victim consciousness?
I cannot be in victim consciousness. It does not work for me.
Yeah.
But also, this isn't my first catastrophe. This is my first house burning down, thank you, and I don't want another one. But, you know, I've been through other, what I call being kicked out of the nest.
Sure, yeah, because people have loss.
Yes.
And so what were some of the other catastrophes that not that you have to name them or anything, but...
Well, divorce comes to mind,
oh, sure.
Especially the one that you didn't expect, had no warning of, and woo, you know, now what?
Yeah.
My father's death.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
Really?
That happened.
It just, to me, catastrophe is something that happens fast, meaning suddenly, without warning, and turns your life upside down.
Yeah.
And I've had, I'd say, 3 of them.
Yeah,
This included.
absolutely.
And I don't know anybody who hasn't had something like that
Without warning.
without warning. And, to go into victim just doesn't work for me.
No, it works for some people because they get some kind of payoff from it.
Right.
But the universe only matches your frequency, so they'll have more to be a victim about.
Right.
So what I love is your art of appreciation, which is one of your books, by the way, right? Or
About 5 of them.
Yeah.
Really. I say the same thing over and over and over again.
If you were to tell us what the scientific, maybe scientific isn't the word, but how does appreciation work in such a way that there's people here that have loss of health, maybe loss of relationship, maybe both, maybe
Loss of a pet.
less, yes. So tell us the science, if you will. Maybe not the science.
I won't give you the science because it's too long,
Okay.
but there is science behind it. I would say the easiest way to grasp it is appreciation is one of the cornerstones of love. But sometimes love is too grand a concept to kind of grab onto easily. To appreciate is to cherish, to value, whatever it is. I can cherish these shoes. They are still the only shoes I have. That's the ones I walked out of the fire with. And I cherish the heck out of those things. They're nice and solid. God bless Payless. But it's to cherish, whatever. Cherish the moment. Cherish, and the moment is a foo-foo term. Cherish wherever you're at, right this second. Cherish your relationship. Cherish your pet. Cherish your home. Cherish your clothes. Cherish your friends. Cherish is to appreciate, to value. And you can do that without them having done anything for you, quite frankly. I cherish you guys enormously for your being because you exist. I cherish you. And you can do that anywhere, anytime, any place. There are no side effects. It costs nothing. And it feels good. Now, energetically, she's absolutely right. There's a ton of science, and anybody who wants to go buy the book, go buy the book, that shows that we emanate energy, literally measurable, to about 15 feet from our bodies. That's the measurable electrical energy. So whatever it is composed of is affecting your world. And since we are forcibly interconnected by those energy waves, like attracts like. And quantum physics has demonstrated that like attracts like. So I know when I go into a meltdown, for example, which could easily spiral into a victim, I do reach out and try to get out of that place as quickly as possible because I'm much too aware of what my energy is doing. And I need my energy to be up in a real, authentic way, not everything's fine. No, it's not. But I'm coping. It's okay. I can put one foot in front of the other, and the miracles just keep happening all the time.
And that's the place to be, is that
Oh,
place.
yeah.
And what I love is that in that place of cherishing, you're cherishing the divinity. The divinity in the moment, the divinity in other people, the divinity in circumstances. And one of the sayings that we have in here is there's not a spot where God is not, right? So God is in those circumstances, and that's why we cherish the people, the places, the circumstances, the events, even though they may not look good.
Good in it. I am astounded at how God can be everywhere all the time. I can't even begin to tell you what an experience that part has been for me when I recognize that God is literally in every single stinking second. It's like the minute I have something that I need or that I want or that would be good to come into my arena, it does with astonishing speed. And I don't know how God does it. I mean, you were trying to solve dichotomy, Jess. I'm trying to solve how does God do this? So I think, hey, look, when I get up to you, let me know. Because I don't understand how it's possible that Source could be literally everywhere present. But that is what I experience. And it's quite wonderful.
Well, I'm just so grateful for you, and I'm grateful that I'm cherishing you right now.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering if you would join me in just cherishing Dr. Noelle Nelson and giving her a hand.
guys are going to make me cry. If I may, I have one last thing that was a lesson for me that may be helpful to some of you who are going through loss or will go through loss is have anchors in your life. If I didn't have church, the community of church, I never stopped. I came to church 4 days after the fire. In my ballroom clothes, my practice clothes, whatever. I never missed a ballet lesson. My teacher got me loaner shoes because I had no shoes, and another student loaned me a leotard. I never stopped ballroom. I never stopped those things which are, for me, anchors. I never stopped my Facebook page called The Amazings. When, stuff happens, make sure not to stop your anchors because they really are what will keep you up.
That is awesome advice. Really, that is the way to be. Just keep on going because God is there. There's not a spot where God is not. Thank you. Just